So at this point, we have all of our controls working to a degree. We have our look, torso, lower, flare, and our cape them out. Now, there, well, actually, no, it's not going to be that big of a problem. What I will do with probably the cape is I may make this just a little bit bigger, and the only reason for that is if I have my look or my torso, I can still use the cape without having to move this controller wherever I need it to go. Does that make sense? Now, for this to be a complete rig, we have to get this to move as one unit, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our hierarchy and get everything in here and get it working as we've done before. So I'm going to create a couple of groups. This first group, we're going to do what we did before. We're going to name this World. We're going to name this one Controls. We're going to name this one Scale. Let's name this one Geo. And I think that's all we need. We might need these two if I've made a mistake earlier, which is going to happen. Alright, so controls get parented to world. Scale is parented to our world. And our geo is going to go into scale. Let's get our controls in the controls group. Let's get our geometry in the geometry group. And we also need to put in, let's go ahead and create one more group. Well, we have another group here. I'm going to do this, deformers. And I'm going to also put that in my scale group. Now, all the deformers we've created, we're going to put those in our deformers group. And I'm just using hotkeys P for parent, and then I'm holding down then control, clicking on deformers to add it to my selection, and then P key to parent them or add them into the group, or you can just drag them in there. Either or works, whatever you feel comfortable with. So now we know these work, but if I move this around, I need everything to move around with it. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to select our control, go to the scale group, constrain, parent constrain, you want maintain offset on, and hit add. Now if I move this around and I don't get any type of weird double transformations, it works. Let's do the same thing with our scale and see what happens. I'm going to select this, scale, constrain, and scale. And everything looks like it scales uniformly. Now let's test this. I'll answer your question in a second. And it looks like it is working. What's your question? Well, I didn't select everything. I selected, the last thing I did was I selected my controls, my deformers, and I put them in the deformers group. Then after I did that, I did my control, selected the scale group, and then create a scale constraint. Get rid of this one here. Now, let's lock this down. So the world group, I'm going to lock and hide selected. Controls group, we're going to lock and hide those.
In the world group, do you hide the visibility also?
No. My scale group, I'm going to lock and hide all of that. Geo group, same thing. My deformers, I'm going to turn those off. And we're going to lock and hide this. I think for right now that's okay.
For the control groups that you lock and hide everything but visibility, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Part of me wants to add one more group in here to kind of lock again. Just because I like to see these in something and then hide them. But for what we're doing, I'm not going to be as dogmatic. Once we get into some more complicated rigs, we will do a lot more to dummy proof our rigs. Does everybody understand that? Now, we've tested it. We know that it works. File, save scene as. Final. And we're good to go. Questions?